Let me ask you some questions. First off, why do some businesses get to charge way more for their product or service and yet people still prefer to buy from them? Or why bother making a video if only a small select group of people is going to appreciate it? And then, how is it possibly a good thing if somebody watches a video that you made and they decide not to work with you after? Now, I think these are all good questions, but the one that I'm really after, the one that I actually care about, is what is the underlying business benefit of creating an organic video engine in your business? Let me answer that one first, because we think it's the most durable way for businesses to lower the cost of acquiring new customers while simultaneously raising the value of those customers over the lifetime of their relationship working with you. Now, we call that CAC and LTV. I'm going to get into it in just a second, but essentially, we think making videos is good for business. That's it. Let's go talk shop. Come on, step into my office, please.
In this video, I'm gonna do three things. Break down CAC and LTV in plain English, show how building an organic video engine into your business shifts both of them in your favor, and clear up the biggest misconceptions about why some companies think they don't need it. And then you can decide if it's for you or not. Let's get a few definitions out of the way. Okay, what is CAC and why do we care? CAC equals customer acquisition costs. That's everything you spend to get new customers, divided by how many new customers you got in that period. Now, I'm definitely not here to give you a math lesson, and I'm not even the person to give you a business lesson about CAC, but it's important to us for two reasons. One, we want it to be as low as possible. And two, if you don't understand the real cost of acquiring new customers, you can't properly value the work it takes to do it. For instance, most people think CAC is just ad spend, because it's easy to measure and it's the only cost that shows up nice and neat on a dashboard. But everything else that buys customers, your sales team, your marketing, your events, your tools, they get hidden under different labels on the P&L, so we forget to count it. Next, what is LTV and why do we care? LTV stands for lifetime value. That's total gross profit you collect from a customer over their lifespan working with you. It's money you collect from them minus the direct cost to deliver. Again, it's not just revenue or net profit. It's the gross profit over the relationship. That's why it's also commonly referred to as LTGP, or lifetime gross profit. And we care about it for two reasons. One, we want it to be as high as possible. And two, if you don't know what a customer is worth long-term, you really can't judge how to allocate resources towards getting more of them. Okay, two more definitions. Let's define organic media. Organic content is anything you put out in the world that earns attention instead of buying it. You don't pay the platform for each impression, and people choose to watch, follow, or search for it. And lastly, it's not really a definition, more of a clarification. Why are we talking about video? All media helps, but video is the unfair one. It's the only format where a stranger can spend 10 minutes with your actual face and voice on their own time for free. And it's the best proxy for in-person interactions with other people, except it's scalable. Now let's talk about all four of those things and how they interact to help your business. So first off, how does organic media lower CAC? There are multiple ways, but two that we really care about. One is it's a fixed cost with compounding reach. You pay once for time, creative, editing, whatever, to make the content. And then the distribution to the next 1,000, 10,000, or millions of people is essentially free. Your audience of likely buyers grows over time without linearly growing your spend. Two practical examples here. Let's just say you have a SaaS business and you make an in-depth product explainer video teaching customers how to use it to solve their problem, and you post it to YouTube, like Asana. Okay, and two, let's say you run a sales team inside a commercial kitchen services company and you make a video which breaks down the design process of how to design a commercial kitchen in a small space. And then you give it to your sales team to send to customers with that problem as a digestible and, most importantly, consistent representation of the process. Yes, both of these examples cost you some time and money up front, but they can be distributed after that for free. All right, the second reason. Prospects arrive pre-sold. Whether someone finds you through scrolling social media, discovering you when they're looking to solve a problem, or a friend tells them about you, the first thing they do is look you up. And if they can watch useful content, a chunk of the selling is done before anyone talks to them. The right fit people self-select out, and the right fit people show up already knowing how you think. This is essentially higher quality leads, closing at higher rates, often faster. And when you do start running ads, the same effect makes every paid and outbound dollar work harder. Same spend gets more customers. Two practical examples here. One, let's say you have an online business which helps restaurant owners grow their restaurant. You make a video which lays out the specific systems used by a specific customer to help other businesses implement that system. People discover it on YouTube by searching for restaurant marketing strategies, like say owner.com. Or 2, you run a project management SaaS business and make a video which breaks down why using email to manage projects is killing your business, like Basecamp.com. Now, people discover these when they're searching to solve their specific problems, and they use them as a resource, onboarding them not just into how you prefer to do things, but also how your business is better positioned to help them long term. Let's talk about how organic media raises LTV. There's really 3 ways we care about. 1, you charge more. 2, you keep them longer. And 3, you get chosen over alternatives or your competition at a higher frequency. Another way to think about this is brand building. Brand building is the intentional pairing of your business with an outcome, hopefully a positive one, where as a result, when a customer encounters your brand, they change their behavior. In our case, that means using organic video to build positive associations for people. Simple example, if you can demonstrate on video a way to help your customers solve their problem, they're going to associate you with being helpful. Organic video is just the cheapest, highest leverage way to do that pairing at scale. And as a result, they change their behavior. In our case, that's things like more people stop scrolling when they see you in their feeds, or more of them think of you first when a problem occurs. And then more of them are willing to pay a premium because they believe you're safer or better, or both. And when that occurs, you can 1, charge more. Imagine something that is branded versus unbranded for the same underlying thing and same cost of delivery. The branded one sells for far more purely because of the associations in people's heads, which means much higher profit per sale without changing fulfillment. That is pure pricing power, which is one of the biggest inputs to LTV. A classic example here would be paying more for Advil versus the generic brand. But a more relevant example to us is the bicycle tools company, Park Tools. They have built a robust library of videos educating customers on how to maintain their bikes and use the tools. And as a result, they charge about double the going rate of no-name bike tool brands. All right, 2, you keep customers longer and get more future purchases for free. Once somebody has a good experience with a strong brand, they're more likely to come back and less likely to defect when a cheaper competitor shows up. And 3, you get chosen over alternatives more often. People prefer to buy from the known brand versus the commodity. That's literally win rate versus competitors going up. More wins per opportunity, your win rate, equals more customers acquired off the same demand surface area, which again increases LTV at the business level. An example I love here is Yeti versus unbranded cooler competitors. Yeti has spent nearly 2 decades making films, profiles, and explainer videos, not just ads, but a mix of educational and branded content for coolers, firmly establishing themselves as the market leader. The point here is that organic media is brand building. Okay, so why start with organic first instead of just running ads? There are many reasons, but 3 we care about. 1, it's free R&D. Every post is a cheap test of topic and angle which resonates with customers. And also, the stuff that hits organically almost always becomes your best paid creative. This means you spend ad dollars only on proven concepts instead of guessing. 2, it creates an owned audience and distribution. A warm audience you don't have to rent every time you want attention, that's building equity. 3, great organic fuels referrals because fans now have something to share when they recommend you, not just, take my word for it. It also counters anti-referrals. Think a competitor saying you're no good, but your visible body of work makes you look obviously credible. And a bonus that I know is true for me, it forces skill growth in messaging and storytelling. You get sharper at articulating customer problems, your promises, and proof. That skill bleeds into sales conversations, client presentations, and proposals. All right, so why video? First, how video specifically helps lower CAC versus other forms of media. 1, it's the densest trust per minute of attention. Video stacks signals text and images can't do alone. Tone, eye contact, body language, fluency, confidence, even how you think in real time. And this is becoming more prominent in an AI-driven world. It's just harder to fake, and it matters more every month. When someone chooses to watch you, they're giving you an insane amount of trust-building time compared to like a skimmed post. 2, algorithms are biased towards video. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, X, and even Google Search now all push video harder in feeds. One good video can get you 10 to 100 times the free reach of an equivalent text post. If organic media is a fixed cost leading to compounding reach game, video simply compounds faster. 3, one single asset can turn into many pieces. A 10 to 20 minute video can turn into 10 short clips, 20 image quotes, blog summaries, email stories, even snippets that are played at webinars or live events. The work is front-loaded and everything else becomes derivatives. Okay, now how video specifically helps raise LTV versus other forms of media. There's 2 ways we care about. All right, 1, People don't follow logos, they follow people. Regular video builds a one-sided relationship where customers feel like they know you. And people who like you behave differently. They stay longer, forgive mistakes, and they give you another shot instead of leaving for a competitor. That's LTV. 2. Video is the education format people actually finish. Onboarding videos, how to get the most from us videos, film client testimonials, they push outcomes up and refunds down. Think about it, LTV jumps when customers use what they bought correctly, when they see wins early, and staying on video keeps you top of mind between purchases, which is where reactivations and repeat buys actually come from. Now you might say, but James, I don't want to become Mr. Beast over here. Which brings me to my next point. Let's get clear on how to define advertisement and entertainment. Let's look at the roots of those words. Yes, I'm a vocabulary nerd. First, advertisement comes from the Latin root advertire, meaning to turn. It's about capturing attention, like turning your attention towards something. Entertainment's etymology comes from the Latin inter, meaning among or between, and tenere, meaning to hold. It literally translates to holding together, or in our case, to hold attention. Okay, so you have to turn towards, to give something your attention, and then to hold your attention. That's advertising and entertainment. And if you believe that the only way to get someone and hold their attention is by attention maxing, you're wrong. The right video in front of the right person will hold their attention. There are many examples of this, but just look at TED Talks or a 10-hour Ken Burns documentary series, right? A 3-hour video podcast, a recorded wide-angle lecture with bad lighting and mediocre audio, or a Loom video that you send to a prospect. These are all examples of videos that capture and hold people's attention that you probably wouldn't consider like super attention grabbing. And yes, there are tactical ways to go about this, which are better than others, but attention of the right people is everything. And so, organic video content delivered to the person who is interested in what you have to say, even if it's educational, is both advertising and entertainment. There is no difference. But what if you already get customers for free? What about referral businesses, Let's talk about the my CAC is zero fallacy. When someone says my CAC is zero, what they're really saying is, I don't measure how much I spend on getting more business. Referrals are returns on past CAC. It's not free magic. If one customer brings you another, the next customer is effectively free on top of what you already paid to get the first one. That's why referrals make the LTV to CAC ratio explode in a good way, and why we love referrals. But that doesn't mean zero CAC. You paid something to get the original customers, whether it was time, discounts, having to work through bad fit clients, or just years in the wilderness. And you keep paying to maintain the experience that makes them refer others in the first place. Think better service, more access, founder involvement. Even pure word of mouth took years of invisible work to create that reputation. Now, along the same lines, let's just say that you have a company pulling in solid revenue via a robust sales team. A sales team's expensive, fully loaded AE, SDR, managers, ops, tools, travel. It's often 15 to 25% of revenue at scale. With no serious organic media, the only way to grow revenue is more heads or more activity. CAC creeps up, but because it's buried in other P&Ls, you're not looking at it as pure acquisition cost. Further, without media, every explanation, every story, every objection handle is done one-to-one by a human. Think about it. Reps spend huge chunks of their week doing basic education that a 10-minute video or a series could do once and scale forever. I mean, that education time is CAC. It's just not tracked. Good organic video becomes asynchronous sales and onboarding. It lets reps spend more time on actual strategy and fit conversations, aka selling, which drives down CAC. Additionally, you get lower win rates and smaller LTV from weak brand. Prospects don't know you before the first meeting. You look like vendor number 3 in a spreadsheet. That means more price pressure, more stakeholders to convince manually, higher churn because the relationship isn't anchored to a bigger story. And lastly, when it comes to sales teams, you have a slow, expensive ramp and dependence on heroes. No media equals no codified narrative. Every new rep learns the pitch, the stories, the proof from scratch. Their onboarding time is longer and the failure rate is higher. A proper media library doubles as world-class sales training and enablement. The same content that educates the market trains the team. But organic video works best for companies with high-value customers, real sales teams, and complex offers. If you're already spending to acquire customers, and one good client is worth a significant amount over their lifetime, then putting your thinking, your process, and your customer stories on video lets prospects pre-sell themselves on you. By the time they talk to sales, they know who you are, how you work, and why you're different. Okay, that does it. Listen, I really believe in this stuff and I wouldn't be in this business unless I did. And the thing is, once you're bought in, the hard part just comes down to doing it strategically, consistently, and well. And honestly, that's where we come in, but that's for another time. Anyways, that's all I got. See ya.